15 pounds in the next couple months. Can you do it? And if you could, how would that impact your life? What kind of confidence and momentum would that bring on January 1st? And what if on January 1st you already had the plan and then you could just keep rolling instead of starting all over again? If you're interested, today we're going over the whole roadmap to help you get there on Kingdom Fit Moms podcast. Hey, welcome to the Kingdom Fit Moms podcast, where we believe that you can go on a journey to lose weight for the last time. I know you've tried all the things and you may not believe me yet, but when you do weight loss the Kingdom Fit Moms way, everything changes. You're in the right place if weight is constantly on your mind, you're confused about food, you're missing out on memories, and maybe even putting your dreams off for another day because this weight struggle is no joke. We're a community and we're on a mission to invite God into this weight loss journey so you can shed the burden and shine your light. I want you to start living and believing in the version of yourself that heaven sees. Let's get started. All right, time for our Fit Mom Win of the Week. This is from one of our newer Fit Moms, and you'll actually get the chance to hear her whole story on the podcast very soon. But her win this week says, "Goodbye 25 pounds. After many weeks of tiny ups and downs, the last week and a half of doing dinner and done every evening for the first time ever gave my body a 4-pound loss, kick in the pants, which pushed me to my lowest weight in forever. Now on to the next 25, but soaking in this victory now. And not just for winning these lost pounds, but winning all my new friends from this community. It has changed my life forever." So we are totally celebrating you, and I just love the transformation that you're having in so many areas of your life. Way to go, Fit Mom, and can't wait to see your next round of victories as well. The fear around choosing another diet plan only to fail again, it's so real. I know you feel this growing pressure in your chest to take your health seriously and get the weight off and do this for your family, but what if you end up right where you started? Is this eating plan the one that will stick? Can I really do this healthy living thing? And is it worth it if I have to give up all my favorite foods and even the comfort that I get from these foods? I want you to understand that you are not alone and that every great success story begins with a yes, I'm going to start. Every woman who's ripped off the shades over her life is actually walking in freedom from the weight struggle. She started in your shoes. So if you're feeling that nudge, that still small voice telling you that getting healthy and walking in obedience to God's better ways, if that's speaking to you and you're like, I'm done, I'm tired of letting this control my life and I'm ready for a better way to live, I want you to say yes. Today's the day that you start identifying as a fit mom. I want you to go right now to kelseywickenhauser.com/join, and I want you to come be in our tribe because we're going to do this together one step at a time. We're going to overcome that fear of failure and identifying with the lie that being overweight is just who you are. You have bigger, better dreams and plans for your life that deserve to be walked out in total freedom. Let's go. I'll see you inside Fit Moms Academy. Hello, friends. I'm Kelsey Wickenhauser. I am the host of Kingdom Fit Moms podcast, and I'm glad you're here, whether it's your first time listening or if you've been hanging around for years. I love hanging out with you. So we're talking about weight loss today. This is a weight loss podcast, and specifically, we're talking about, is it possible to lose 15 pounds by the new year? If you're listening to this live, that means 6-ish weeks. And I know it can feel a little bit intimidating to make a goal like that. Like, I want to lose 15 pounds by the new year. I would encourage you to go ahead and make the goal. And even if it's not, if it has not completely come to fruition the way that you expect it to, but you're moving in the right direction, if you lose those 15 pounds by January 1st or by February 1st, right? Does it really matter in the grand scheme of things if you're doing this the Kingdom Fit Moms way? I'm going to argue no, it doesn't. Ultimately, our goal is freedom from always thinking about our weight and the scale and food. And so if we're moving in the right direction, we don't necessarily have to put a specific timeline on it. But for those of you who want a little bit of a challenge, maybe you, I don't know, maybe you got a vacation in January, maybe you're turning 40 or 50, or maybe you're having a class reunion. By the way, I can't believe I'm saying this, but my high school reunion, if we have one, I don't know, but in theory, it would be 20 years. I'm showing my age this spring, which is just insane to me because I don't feel that old. Anybody else feel that way? Like, I still feel like I have the sense of humor at times of my 18-year-old self. And I still feel like I could hop out in the field and play ball, although, it would not look the same. But if you didn't know this about me, I played softball throughout college, and even to think that it's been 15 years since I've pitched in a game, like, that is so sad to me because I loved playing softball. Still have dreams about it. But anyway, if you're meeting up with some people and you want to see the scale drop before then, let's talk about the roadmap to losing 15 pounds. Now, I want to remind you that we are not about quick fixes and crash diets, but there are strategies that you can do within the framework of what we talk about in Fit Moms, specifically within our whole program in Fit Moms Academy, that will help you to see results a little bit quicker. So the first thing that you got to do, maybe you need to pause this and go write these things down, okay? First thing you have to do is to make a decision. It has to be a firm decision. If you're like, yeah, I think I'm going to try to lose weight during the holidays, you're going to fail, okay? You will not lose 15 pounds if you go in with the mindset like, I'm going to try. We always say in Fit Moms, we don't try. We don't like that language because trying lets you off the hook. I always give this analogy to my husband. He doesn't like it, but when I was in PA school, one of the doctors that I worked with, I think I said something about trying, and he's like, close your eyes and imagine yourself opening a door. Now imagine yourself trying to open a door. And his point is kind of true. Like, if you are just trying, it's probably not good enough. So we need a firm decision. You cannot drift into health by accident, right? You have to choose it. It has to be something that you are making a priority and you are holding yourself to a certain standard. So as you make this decision, pray and ask God to help you commit wholeheartedly to this process. And it does not necessarily mean that you can't have anything fun, quote unquote, over the holiday season. But there are going to be some boundaries and limitations that we talk about if this is important to you to see that scale drop. And if it's not, then maybe this isn't the best podcast for you, right? But if you're somebody who's like, I want to see the scale drop even throughout the holidays, then we're going to talk about that today, okay? And again, as a Christian weight loss coach, I constantly am reminding my people, like, when you have to have that moment where you decide to act in obedience rather than emotion, okay? And when you can do that, you've won half the battle, because our emotions are always going to take us to this place of like, oh, I'm stressed. I'm just going to eat the thing. This feels good. I'm overwhelmed. I'm tired. And when we start to live in those emotions instead of out of the obedience that the Lord calls us to in many areas of our life, there's gonna be a struggle if we're living in our emotion. Okay, so we are having a resolve to make this decision. So if you don't want to do that, you can just pause and go to the next podcast. But if that's you, keep listening. Okay, the next thing that we got to do is to create some boundaries and some non-negotiables. Boundaries, sometimes that word has a negative connotation, like, oh, I don't want to have boundaries. It sounds so rigid and not fun. But really, boundaries, they are protection, and they're not meant to be punishment. I love the scripture about the boundary lines falling in pleasant places. And so when you're thinking about non-negotiables, you want to pick ones that have high yield. Okay. So most of us, if we're being honest, those calories that we eat after dinner, they're not usually the best. Okay. So having a boundary of dinner and done, committing to 30 grams or less of sugar every day, hitting your 10,000 steps, not hitting the snooze button, some of those can have a huge, they can make a huge difference. And so we have to work together to figure out, okay, which boundaries do we need to put in place that are actually going to yield results, not just some random rule that I'm putting on myself. But these small shifts, they really compound over time. And when you're inside of Fit Moms Academy, we build these one step at a time so that you can create habits that last. And so really, if you started Fit Moms Academy right now and started through our Fit Steps, our Scale Steps, you'd be at least halfway done implementing those by the new year, if you're taking them a week at a time. So that's pretty encouraging. You could be well on your way on January 1st. All right, the next point that I want to make, and this is absolutely key if you are somebody who's like, I want to lose 15 pounds and I don't want to be like 100% perfect, okay? You have to not let one choice derail you. One cookie does not ruin your progress, but quitting because you had a cookie will ruin your progress. Progress is not perfection. It is the persistence. It is doing most of the decisions really, really well. So when you mess up, because you're going to mess up, stop and pray. Like, Lord, help me to get back up and make the next right choice. This is not rocket science. You don't need some fancy program that gives you, all these rules that are man-made. It's just the consistency. And so it's not about guilt. It's about grace mixed with obedience and discipline, all those other fruits of the Spirit. Okay. The next piece of advice I will give you is to prioritize high protein breakfasts. When you start your day with protein, it's going to stabilize your blood sugar, it's going to boost your metabolism, it's going to reduce cravings. And so I would suggest aiming for at least 25 to 30 grams of protein in the morning. So eggs, Greek yogurt, protein shake, those are my go-tos in some way, shape, or form. And I like this rule, so to speak, because it sets the day up for consistency. And you might be thinking, well, what about intermittent fasting? What if I just don't eat breakfast? Don't do that, especially if you're early on in your weight loss journey. I have not seen anybody who has not gone through all the heart and mindset work be consistent with intermittent fasting for a long time, because it sets you up to be really hungry later, right? And if you haven't dealt with the roots of why you struggle with weight, if you haven't figured out the emotional eating, if you haven't had good habits and renewed your love for real food, if you haven't done all that work, then intermittent fasting is just a very temporary tool that will not work well long term. You could totally do that at some point in your journey, but not right off the bat if you're listening to this podcast. Okay. The next piece that you need to be doing if you want to lose 15 pounds by the new year is to move consistently and make it fun. You do not need an extreme workout plan, but you do need consistency. Are you sensing a trend here? Am I making it too simple? Is it really that simple, Kelsey? Yes, it is that simple. So find movement that feels good and fits your life. Maybe you're walking with your kids every day, and then you're stretching before bed, and you're dancing in the kitchen, whatever keeps you moving and joyful, but it has to be a little bit more than like a little yoga or Pilates video and then sitting all day, right? That's not enough. So we want to make sure you're moving all throughout the day. And again, we can help individualize this for you so that you make sure you're getting in a deficit and getting the burn that you need to if you want to get those pounds off. Okay, last piece, number 6. So remember that this process is more important than the product. And this kind of goes back to what I said at the very beginning. Even if you didn't have 15 pounds down on January 1st, but you had 6 pounds down, is it worth it? Of course it's worth it. You're not going in the opposite direction, and you already are developing this new foundation that you want to commit to for all of 2026 and for the rest of your life. It's easy to obsess over this number on the scale, but the real win is who you become. And when you commit to health for God's glory and not for vanity, you are living out Romans 12:1. Offering your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God, this is your true and proper worship. And this is what makes Christian weight loss different. This is what a kingdom fit mom is. It's not about chasing skinny. It's about living free. It's about treating your body as a temple so that you can do the kingdom work that you were created for without constantly battling the exhaustion and shame and food obsession. So, as we depart ways today, my friend, if you've been stuck in that start and stop cycle over and over again, waiting for someday, let this be your sign that today is the day. We're going to make a decision. We're going to set some boundaries. We're going to pray differently. And we're going to watch what happens when you invite God to lead your health journey. And again, if you want step-by-step support and accountability, if you want to find your tribe of kingdom-minded women and a biblical framework to lose weight for the last time, come join me. Come join all of us inside of Fit Moms Academy, which is a Christian weight loss program that helps women just like you shed the pounds, find peace, and live free. Go to kelseywickenhauser.com to get started today for only $97. I'll see you inside.
And thanks for listening to Kingdom Fit Moms. Hit some subscribe right now.